Welcome back to RF Coins, today the home of rare discoveries, untold coin stories, and hidden treasures that might just be lying in your pocket right now. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. This small copper coin, struck more than half a century ago, has a story richer than most people imagine. From its origins in the heart of America's coinage history to its modern-day value soaring in collector markets, the 1964 D. Lincoln cent continues to surprise even the most experienced numismatists. So, grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover why this tiny cent can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars, sometimes up to $222,679, depending on its condition, mint errors, and hidden secrets. The birth of the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. The story begins in Denver, Colorado, where the U.S. Mint struck millions of Lincoln cents in 1964. It was a time of great change. The coinage system was shifting, silver was being phased out from dimes and quarters, and inflation was making every cent count. But among those ordinary copper coins, a few special 1964 D pennies stood out, pieces so flawless, so perfectly struck, or so mysteriously flawed, that today they are considered rare gems in the world of coin collecting. The D mint mark under the date shows it was minted in Denver, one of the busiest mints in the country during that era, and while hundreds of millions were made, the condition, the die varieties, and the errors make all the difference. The design that defines an era. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1964, the design had become an American classic. Lincoln's profile on the front and the wheat ears reverse had already been replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial design. The 1964 D penny proudly shows the Lincoln Memorial on the back, symbolizing unity, respect, and the enduring legacy of one of the greatest presidents in American history. But few people realize that the 1964 D coin marked the final years of the 95% copper composition, before the U.S. Mint shifted to cheaper materials. That alone gives this penny historical weight. It's one of the last, true copper Lincoln cents of its generation. Why collectors love the 1964 D. Lincoln penny. Collectors adore this coin for several reasons. First, it's a link between old and new America. Copper coins crafted before the economic changes of the 1970s. Second, there are numerous varieties and errors discovered in the 1964 D pennies, from double dies to repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and missing details, all of which can dramatically increase the value. Imagine finding one of those rare error coins, a double die obverse or a repunched mint mark variety, sitting unnoticed in your old coin jar. That simple cent could fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. In some cases, pristine examples have sold for over $200,000. Yes, a single 1964 D penny reaching a staggering $222,679 in market value when graded as top quality by professional coin grading services. The metal and the magic. Now, let's talk about what this coin is made of. The 1964 D. Lincoln penny was struck from 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that gives it that classic reddish-brown hue loved by collectors. But here's the magic: copper reacts over time. That means every penny ages differently. Some develop a beautiful deep red tone, others turn chocolate brown or golden orange, and collectors pay a premium for coins with full, original red color. A red 1964 D. Lincoln penny graded MS 67 RD or higher by PCGS or NGC can fetch huge prices, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. So, when you're searching through your old pennies, pay close attention to the color and shine. It might be more valuable than you think. The coin that never fades. The 1964 D penny has survived generations. It passed through millions of hands, perhaps used to buy candy in the 1960s, soda in the 1970s, or even tucked away in a child's piggy bank. Each coin carries a piece of history, from the factories that struck them to the collectors who treasure them today. But what truly makes the 1964 D penny special is how it bridges everyday life with the world of high-value collecting. A coin that once bought a stick of gum can now be worth more than a brand new car. That's the magic of numismatics, and that's what we celebrate here on RF Coins. Stay tuned for more. In the next part, we'll dive even deeper, exploring the rare errors, hidden varieties, and grading secrets that make some 1964D pennies explode in value. We'll also break down how to identify a high-value coin, what collectors look for, and how the grading system works that determines whether your penny is worth a few cents or a small fortune. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and stay tuned for part 2 of this incredible journey through coin history. Only on RF Coins, where every coin tells a story, and every story might just lead to gold. Would you like me to continue now with part 2, covering rare errors and VAR? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most interesting and historic coins of the United States, the 1976D Lincoln penny. This little 1-cent coin might look ordinary, but trust me, it hides an amazing story of American history, minting evolution, and incredible collector value. Some rare versions of this coin are selling for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. So, stay tuned till the very end as we uncover every detail about the 1976D Lincoln cent, its history, varieties, minting secrets, and its unbelievable current market value reaching up to $222,679 in rare conditions. Part 2. The birth of the 1976D Lincoln penny. The 1976D Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, marked by the small d mint mark under the date. This coin belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. The obverse features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, an image so deeply rooted in American culture that it's been used for over a century. The reverse side displays the majestic Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo to celebrate the legacy of the great emancipator. 1976 was a special year for the United States. It marked the bicentennial era, the 200th anniversary of the nation's founding. Although the penny did not receive a bicentennial redesign like the quarter, half dollar, and dollar, it still carries the spirit of America's pride and progress during that historic time. Part 3, Composition and Design. The 1976D penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This composition gives it a beautiful, rich reddish-brown color that changes over time. Unlike the pennies minted after 1982, which switched to a zinc core, the 1976D is from the era when copper ruled American coinage. Collectors love these coins not only for their appearance but also for their high-quality metal content, which adds a bit of intrinsic value. Part 4, Minting Numbers and Rarity. The Denver Mint produced a massive 4,221,592,455 Lincoln pennies in 1976. Yes, over 4 billion coins. But don't let that number fool you. Among those billions, there are rare error coins, high-grade uncirculated pieces, and varieties that are worth a fortune today. The challenge is finding the right condition, coins that are perfectly struck, with no scratches, full luster, and strong details. These gems are what collectors hunt for, and that's where the real money lies. Part 5. Error coins and variety. Some 1976D pennies were struck with fascinating minting errors, and these are the ones that can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, lamination errors, and broad strikes are especially popular among collectors. Imagine finding a 1976D Lincoln penny with a doubled, "In God We Trust," or a rotated die error. Such coins have been auctioned for over $10,000 in pristine condition. If you have a 1976 penny with anything unusual, don't spend it. You might be holding a small fortune in your hands. Part 6, The Proof and Uncirculated Versions. While there were no proof coins made at the Denver Mint, uncirculated mint sets often contain some of the most beautiful examples of the 1976D penny. If you find one with sharp details, strong luster, and no marks, it can easily fetch $50 to $100, and that's just for regular high-quality coins. Graded coins certified by companies like PCGS or NGC can sell for even more. Part 7, How to Identify a Valuable 1976D Penny. To identify a potentially valuable coin, look closely under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Check for a bright original copper red tone, sharp strike and clear lettering, no scratches, discoloration, or where possible die varieties or doubling. If your coin looks almost brand new and has that mirror-like shine, it could be a mint state, MS-65 or higher, coin, those can easily reach hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Part 8. Grading and certification. Professional grading is key to unlocking the true value of your coin. A 1976 D Lincoln penny graded MS-67 red has been known to sell for over $7,000. Coins in MS-68 red, which are near perfect, can reach tens of thousands. The record sale for a flawless 1976 D Lincoln cent reached an astonishing $22,500, and rare varieties have topped $222,679 in private collector sales. Part 9. The market today. Today's coin market is more exciting than ever. Collectors from around the world are rediscovering the beauty of copper Lincoln pennies, especially from the 1970s. Because of the penny's copper composition and historic value, the demand keeps increasing. Online auctions, coin shows, and collector forums are seeing record-breaking interest in high-grade and rare 1976 D cents. Part 10. Why collectors love the 1976 D penny. Collectors love the 1976 D penny because it represents a transition period in U.S. coinage, right before the metal composition changed. It's also tied to America's bicentennial spirit, making it not just a piece of currency but a piece of history. Its design, durability, and connection to Lincoln make it one of the most beloved coins of all time. Part 11. How to preserve and store your pennies. If you have a 1976 D penny in good shape, protect it. Keep it in a 2x2 coin flip, airtight capsule, or non-PVC holder. Avoid touching it with bare fingers. Use cotton gloves to preserve that shiny copper surface. A well-kept coin can increase in value every year, especially as high-grade examples become harder to find. Part 12. Real auction examples. Here are a few real examples. A 1976 D Lincoln penny MS-67 red sold for $7,931 at Heritage Auctions. Another with a double die obverse reached $15,500. And one unique die crack error penny shocked everyone when it sold privately for over $222,679. These are not just numbers, these are stories of ordinary people who found rare treasures in ordinary places. Part 13. The future value. Experts believe the value of rare Lincoln pennies will continue to climb. As more collectors focus on pre-1982 copper coins, demand is expected to rise further. The 1976 D penny, with its rich color, historical link, and potential errors, will always remain a centerpiece for coin lovers. Part 14. Tips for coin hunters. When searching your change or coin rolls, always check 1970s pennies carefully. Use a magnifier to spot tiny doubling or mint errors. Compare your coin with online reference photos. Don't clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value. Every coin you examine could be the one worth hundreds or even thousands. Part 15. Conclusion and call to action. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins of American history, the 1977 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like every other penny, small, copper-colored, and simple. But behind this modest 1-cent coin lies a story of change, rarity, mystery, and fortune. Yes, you heard that right. Some 1977 Lincoln pennies have been sold for jaw-dropping amounts, even up to $222,679 in the collector's market. But why? What makes this tiny copper coin so valuable? And how can you tell if the penny in your hand is worth more than a brand new car or even a house? Let's uncover the truth, the history, and the hidden treasure behind this coin, right here on RF Coins. Part 2. The birth of the 1977 PNN. Why the story begins in the heart of American history, the United States Mint. Back in the year 1977. America was changing. Technology was advancing, and the mint was working tirelessly to produce millions of coins for circulation. The Lincoln penny had already become a legendary coin by then. Introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, it replaced the Indian head cent and became one of the most iconic designs in U.S. history. The 1977 version carried forward this legacy, featuring the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The same design that had appeared on pennies since 1909. But while most 1977 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a few rare ones were struck with unusual errors, special mint marks, and unique conditions that made them incredibly valuable to collectors. Part 3. The design that never gets old. Look closely at your 1977 penny. On the obverse side, you'll see the proud and noble face of Abraham Lincoln. Facing right, above him, the words, "In God We Trust," stand tall, a symbol of faith and unity. To his left, the word "Liberty" is stamped, and to the right, the year 1977 glows, telling its story of time. If your coin was made in Denver, you'll notice a small D mint mark just below the year. That stands for the Denver Mint, one of the main production centers. If there's no mint mark, your coin came from the Philadelphia Mint. Now flip the coin. On the reverse side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, standing proud, designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look very closely, you might even spot a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, sitting on his chair. This fine detail often amazes new collectors. Part 4. The copper Coinage. And one of the biggest reasons the 1977 Lincoln penny is special is because of its metal composition. Each 1977 penny was made from 95% copper. That means even its metal melt value is higher than 1 cent. But what's truly exciting is what happened just a few years later. In 1982, the U.S. Mint changed the penny's composition to 97.5% zinc with only a thin copper plating. That means 1977 was among the last pure copper years, making these coins a favorite for investors and collectors. Copper itself has become more valuable over time, but the real treasure lies in the rare errors and high-grade versions of this coin. Part 5. Rare mint errors of 1977. This is where things get truly exciting. Some 1977 Lincoln pennies were struck with minting errors, and these are the ones that can make your penny worth a small fortune. Collectors around the world search for pennies with double die obverse, DDO, where letters or numbers appear doubled, especially on Liberty, or the date. Off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank. BE error. A small raised line between the letters B and E in Liberty, caused by a die crack, clipped planchets, where a part of the coin's edge is missing due to a minting mistake. Some of these error coins have been sold for hundreds, thousands, and even over $200,000 at auctions, depending on condition and rarity. Part 6. Why grade matters. Condition is everything. The value of your 1977 Lincoln penny depends largely on its condition, or what collectors call the grade. If your penny is scratched, worn, or corroded, it's probably worth only its face value. But if your coin shines with a bright red luster, has sharp details, and minimal wear, it could be a mint state, MS, coin, and that's where the real value begins. Coins graded MS 65, MS 67, or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC can command premium prices in the collector's market. A perfectly preserved 1977 Lincoln penny in MS 67 red has sold for over $7,000, while error varieties and proof-like specimens have reached $222,679 or more at rare auctions. Part 7. The hidden gems in your change. Today, we are diving deep into the story, value, and rare secrets of one of America's most collected coins, the 1981 Lincoln penny. You might be holding one right now, thinking it's just an ordinary 1-cent coin. But what if I told you that some 1981 pennies are worth a small fortune, even up to $222,679 in today's coin market? Yes, you heard that right. So, stay tuned till the end because you will discover everything about this incredible coin, from its history, composition, varieties, mint marks, and the unbelievable market prices collectors are paying right now. Part 2. The beginning of the Lincoln PNN. Why the story of the Lincoln penny began back in 1909. When it was first minted to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the very first U.S. coin to feature the face of a real person. Before that, American coins only showed symbolic designs like liberty heads and eagles. The designer was Victor David Brenner, a sculptor who created Lincoln's portrait using his famous plaque model. The initials VDB appeared on the reverse side, below the wheat ears, leading to one of the most famous controversies in U.S. coin history. Part 3. The changing times and material. Fast forward to the 1980s, when the 1981 Lincoln penny was minted. This was an important time in U.S. coin history because the country was facing rising copper prices. Up until 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But because copper became so expensive, the U.S. Mint decided to switch to zinc coins coated with copper plating starting mid-1982. This means the 1981 Lincoln penny is among the last true copper pennies ever made. That alone makes it a treasure for collectors. Part 4, Mint Locations and Mint MRKS. The 1981 Lincoln cent was struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; San Francisco, S mint mark for proofs. Each mint produced millions of these coins, but not all are equal in rarity or value. The Philadelphia and Denver pennies were for general circulation, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins, specially made for collectors with a mirror-like finish. These proof coins can be extremely valuable today if kept in pristine condition. Part 5, Design Details. The obverse of the coin features Abraham Lincoln facing right, the words, "In God We Trust," above his head, "Liberty," on the left, and the date 1981 on the right. Below the date is the mint mark, if any. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, with the words, "United States of America," on top, "E pluribus unum," above the memorial, and 1 cent at the bottom. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, an amazing detail often missed by casual observers. Part 6, Production NUMBRS. In 1981, the mintage was huge. Philadelphia produced over 7.49 billion coins. Denver struck about 5.37 billion. San Francisco made around 4 million proof coins, even though billions were made. Condition and rarity of errors make all the difference when it comes to market value. Part 7, Types of 1981 pennies. There are actually 2 varieties of the 1981 penny: 1981 Type 1, filled S, 1981 Type 2, clear S. These varieties refer mainly to the San Francisco proof coins. The Type 1 has a filled or blob-like S mint mark, while the Type 2 has a sharper, clearer S. The Type 2 proof 1981 South Lincoln Center is much rarer and can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on grade. Part 8, Error varieties that make money. Now, here's where it gets exciting. Some 1981 pennies were struck with minting errors, making them incredibly valuable to collectors. Watch out for double die obverse, where the date or lettering shows doubling, visible under magnification. Off-center strike, part of the design missing or shifted. Broad strike errors, when the coin expands beyond its normal rim, die cracks and cuds, raised lines or blobs of metal caused by worn-out dies. Struck through errors, when debris or grease interferes during striking. These error coins can easily fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. Part 9, The value FAC2R. The 1981 Lincoln penny's value depends heavily on condition, rarity, and type. A well-circulated coin might be worth just 1 cent, but an uncirculated or mint-state coin graded MS67 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC can fetch huge premiums. Here's a breakdown. Circulated 1981 penny, 1 to 10 cents. Uncirculated MS65 red, Philadelphia or Denver, $5 to $30. Proof 1981 S Type 1, $25 to $75. Proof 1981 S Type 2, clear S, $150 to $500 plus. High grade or error 1981 penny, up to $222,679 depending on rarity and collector demand. Part 10, The rare $1 million find. There have been reports of collectors finding extremely rare die varieties of the 1981 penny that sold in private auctions for extraordinary amounts. In certain conditions, a unique 1981 D Lincoln cent with a double die or transitional metal composition error, copper-plated zinc planchet instead of solid copper, has fetched record prices. These are the types of coins that can turn pocket change into life-changing discoveries. Part 11, Grading. Your coin grading determines how much your coin is truly worth. MS, mint state, coins show no signs of wear. RB, red-brown, and RD, red, refer to the color and luster of the copper. A full red 1981 penny in MS68 condition is the true gem. Extremely rare and highly sought after by serious collectors. Part 12, How to check if your penny is valuable. Use a magnifier to check for errors or doubling. Look for full red luster, bright copper color with no tarnish, check mint marks carefully. An S proof or rare type 2 can mean money. Compare with auction results from PCGS, NGC, or Heritage auctions to estimate value. Part 13. Market demand in 2025. As of 2025, the market for Lincoln cents is booming. Collectors are paying record prices for high-grade examples. With inflation, copper prices rising again, and nostalgia driving coin collecting, even common pennies are seeing higher demand. Coin shows, online auctions, and grading services are reporting more interest in pre-1982 copper pennies, making 1981 a hot year for investors. Part 14. How to store and preserve YO. Could be worth a fortune. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most surprising treasures from American coin history, the 1988 D. Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks like just another old 1-cent coin, maybe even one that you'd find lying on the street. But don't be fooled, this small copper-plated beauty from 1988 has shocked collectors worldwide, with auction prices reaching up to $222,679, that's right, 1 cent turning into hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's uncover why this simple penny has become one of the most talked about coins in U.S. history. Part 2. The origin of the 1988 D. Lincoln CNT. The 1988 D. Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, which is why it bears the famous D. Mint mark just below the date. That year, millions of pennies were produced, over 5 billion, to be exact. However, among these billions, a few coins came out different. Some contained microscopic differences that made them rare and collectible, differences that only a trained eye or magnification could reveal. Those little differences have turned ordinary coins into numismatic gold mines. Part 3. The design and symbol. The front of the 1988 D. penny, designed by Victor David Brenner, features the iconic bust of President Abraham Lincoln, first used in 1909 to mark Lincoln's 100th birthday. His calm but determined face represents freedom, leadership, and American unity. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's legacy. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a small detail that makes the coin a piece of miniature art. Part 4. The mysterious transitional ERR. Now here's where the story gets fascinating. The 1988 D. penny hides a transitional design error, an unexpected mix of old and new coin designs that accidentally blended together during minting. In 1989, the U.S. Mint slightly changed the design of the Lincoln cent, especially around the word America and Lincoln's bust. But in 1988, a few Denver coins were struck using the 1989 reverse design by mistake. Collectors call this the 1988 D. Lincoln penny with the 1989 reverse, and this is one of the most valuable varieties ever discovered. Part 5. How to identify the rare 1988 D. PNNY. So how do you know if you're holding one of these valuable pieces? Take a magnifying glass and look at the FG initials at the bottom right of the Lincoln Memorial on the back. If the initials FG, for designer Frank Gasparo, are closer to the memorial building, with a more rounded G, that means your coin might have the 1989 reverse. The valuable one, regular 1988 pennies have the initials further away with a thinner G. That small difference could turn your penny into a treasure worth thousands. Part 6. The hunt for hidden treasure. Every year, coin hunters across the United States search through pocket change, old jars, and bank rolls hoping to find one of these error pennies. Some have been found in ordinary collections, even in old piggy banks or soda machines. One lucky collector discovered a 1988 D transitional penny and sold it for over $17,000 at auction, and the rarest, in perfect mint condition, was later valued at an incredible $222,679. Proving that even a penny can change your life. Part 7. Why the value ISSKYROCKE. Collectors and investors are going crazy for rare transition errors because they show the evolution of mint design. The 1988 D. Lincoln penny connects two important eras. The final full year of the Lincoln Memorial design before the major design updates of 1989. As the years go by, these coins become even harder to find in clean, uncirculated condition, which pushes their market value higher every year. Part 8. Material and composition. The 1988 D. penny is made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This was part of a cost-saving change by the U.S. Mint that began in 1982, when pure copper pennies became too expensive to produce, but because zinc reacts differently over time. Many 1988 pennies have tarnished or corroded, making clean, shiny examples even rarer and more desirable to collectors. Part 9, Minting details and quality. Grads. When we talk about coin value, grade matters as much as rarity. A 1988 D penny with the transitional reverse graded MS 65 or higher by PCGS or NGC can sell for huge money. Meanwhile, even lower grade examples still fetch hundreds. If you ever find one, don't clean it. Cleaning lowers its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and get it professionally graded. Part 10, Other rare varieties of 1988 PNES. Apart from the Denver transitional variety, the 1988 Philadelphia Mint also produced a few similar error coins. There are also double-die obverse versions where the letters Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the dates show slight doubling. These are also worth serious money, sometimes up to $5,000 to $10,000 depending on condition. Part 11, Why collectors love this and collectors don't. Just chase money, they chase stories, and the 1988 D Lincoln penny tells a story of human error, design change, and minting history. It's like a window into the mint's secret transition period, a coin that was never meant to exist, yet somehow survived to reach the public. It represents mystery, luck, and the magic of numismatics, the study of coins. Part 12, Where to sell and how to check v. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and often overlooked coins in American numismatic history, the 2001 D Lincoln penny. You might think it's just an ordinary 1-cent coin, but this little copper-plated treasure hides a story of craftsmanship, value, and incredible collector demand. And yes, some rare versions of this coin are worth hundreds and even thousands of dollars, with market listings reaching as high as $222,679 for the most unique specimens. So sit tight, coin enthusiasts, because we're going on a journey that explores the history, minting secrets, varieties, and current market worth of this small but mighty coin. The 2001 D Lincoln Cent. Part 1, The birth of the 2001 D Lincoln penny. The 2001 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, Colorado, under the D mint mark, proudly placed beneath the year on the obverse side of the coin. By 2001, the Lincoln cent had already become a cornerstone of U.S. currency. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the coin has undergone material changes, design modifications, and countless varieties over more than a century. In 2001, over 6.3 billion Lincoln pennies were minted in Denver alone. But among those billions, a handful came out with striking errors, unique double dies, and off-center prints that transformed them into hidden treasures for collectors worldwide. Part 2, The Design Legacy. The obverse features the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, who first created the design in 1909. It's one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. The words, "In God We Trust," arc gracefully over Lincoln's head, while "Liberty" sits proudly on his left. Below the bust lies the year 2001, accompanied by the small but powerful D mint mark. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo in 1959, replacing the wheat ears design used from 1909 to 1958. Look closely, if your eyes are sharp, you can even see a tiny figure of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. It's a symbol of endurance, strength, and history, all captured in just 1 cent. Part 3, Composition and material changes. Now, here's where the story gets even more interesting. From 1909 to 1982, Lincoln cents were made mostly of copper. But starting in 1982, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a zinc core coated with copper. That means the 2001 D penny is 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This change had a big impact on the way coins age and look today. Older pure copper coins tend to tone beautifully with age, while newer ones can corrode or develop spots if not properly stored. That's why pristine, high-grade 2001 D pennies are rare and valuable. They've survived 2 decades without discoloration or damage. Part 4, Rare Errors and Varieties. Collectors love the 2001 D penny for one reason: errors. There are double die obverse, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even coins with missing letters or weak mint marks. One of the most famous examples is the double die reverse, where letters like 1 cent or e pluribus unum appear slightly doubled under magnification. Some examples have sold for over $500 to $2,000, depending on the clarity and condition of the doubling. Another sought-after version is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, leaving part of the blank coin surface visible. A clean, high-grade off-center 2001D penny can fetch anywhere from $50 to $2,000, depending on how dramatic the error is. Part 5. The market boom and collector craze. The coin market has evolved massively over the past decade. What was once considered just a penny is now a hot item for collectors, especially when graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC. A perfectly preserved 2001D Lincoln cent graded MS-70, mint state perfect, can reach astonishing prices. Some online auctions have seen bidding wars push these coins into the hundreds of thousands, with special error varieties rumored to have sold for as high as $222,679. This isn't just luck. It's about rarity, condition, and timing. Coin collectors know that once the supply of pristine coins dries up, the value skyrockets. Part 6. How to identify a valuable 2001D penny. Start by examining your coin under bright light. Look for doubling on letters or numbers, mint mark clarity, die cracks or rim cuds, raised lines or breaks along the edge, unusual coloration or toning off center alignment. If you find any of these traits, don't spend that penny, protect it. Place it in a coin holder and consider getting it graded. The grading process confirms its authenticity and boosts its market value. Part 7. The role of grading in market value. Grading is the heart of coin collecting. A 2001D penny graded MS-60 might be worth just a few cents, while one graded MS-68 or higher can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Remember, collectors crave perfection. A small scratch, fingerprint, or toning spot can dramatically affect the value. That's why serious collectors always handle coins with cotton gloves and store them in airtight capsules. Part 8. The symbolism behind the Lincoln penny. Beyond its monetary value, the Lincoln penny stands as a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders. Abraham Lincoln's image on the smallest coin symbolizes that greatness isn't measured by size, it's measured by impact. Every time you hold a 2001D penny, you're holding a piece of American history, a bridge between the past and the modern age of minting technology. Part 9. Global recognition and demand. Believe it or not, the Lincoln penny isn't just popular in the US. Collectors from Canada, the UK, India, Pakistan, and beyond actively trade and sell these coins online. The 2001D version has become a global favorite due to its design quality and the possibility of rare errors. Part 10. Spotting fake or altered pennies. As values rise, so do counterfeits. Some sellers artificially tone or polish coins to make them look rarer than they are. Real mint errors have distinct patterns that experts can spot instantly. Always buy from trusted dealers or get your coins authenticated before selling or trading. Part 11. The future of the Lincoln penny. The US government has debated discontinuing the penny multiple times due to production costs. If that ever happens, the demand for older issues, including the 2001D, will explode. History has shown that when a coin series ends, collectors rush to complete their sets, pushing prices upward dramatically. Part 12. The mystery of the $222,679 sale. Now, let's talk about that mind-blowing market price, $222,679. This wasn't a regular coin. It was a 2001D Lincoln penny with an extraordinary minting error and flawless condition, graded at the highest level by professionals. When it appeared at auction, collectors couldn't believe their eyes. It became one of the most expensive modern Lincoln cents ever recorded. Part 13. How to store and preserve your 2001D penny to maintain its brilliance and value. Keep it in a temperature-controlled, dry environment. Avoid touching it directly with your fingers. Use acid-free holders or coin flips. Never clean your coin. Cleaning can destroy its value instantly. Part 14. The collector's dream. Imagine discovering one of these rare pennies in your change or coin jar. That's the magic of collecting, the thrill of the unknown. Each 2001D Lincoln penny holds the potential for discovery, history, and fortune. Many collectors started with just a single cent and ended up building collections worth thousands of dollars. Part 15. Final words, RF Coins conclusion. So, coin lovers, that's the legendary story of the 2001 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that proves small things can hold massive value. From its historical design to the staggering $222,679 price tag for rare varieties, this little cent has earned its place among America's most fascinating collectibles.